He who controls your thoughts controls your thinking and therefore controls your actions. I made a video a while back called Manufacturing Controversy. And in that video, I talked about how the media is used to create certain controversies and stir up people's emotions and to get people to think in a certain way. And I can see it, it's even more so now. I can see it with the police shootings and the Colin Kaepernick um, protest thing. I actually don't believe none of this stuff is actually really real. See, here's the thing. There was a black dude in the NBA. I'm trying to think of his name. Was it Sharif Abdul Rahim or something like that? This was in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. He didn't stand for the flag either. Guess what? They got him out of the NBA. And there are certain things that has to be talked about when you start talking about this kind of stuff. Because if these things were real, and white people really didn't like this stuff or really didn't want this stuff, they could easily just snuff all this shit out. All this stuff about motherfuckers not standing for the flag and all that. They want to create this stuff. They're trying to create this type of racial climate. It's just like a lot of the YouTube shit I don't think is real. A lot of the swirling shit, Crystal and Carols and all that, I don't believe those people are really real. They're real people, yes. But I think they're being paid to push that interracial agenda. Because that YouTube shit, like what she's doing, goes hand in hand with what they're doing in the media. They're promoting interracial in the media with black women and white men, scandal, all that shit. And a lot of us are reacting to this stuff. A lot of us are reacting to this stuff. But let's be honest, this shit is not really reflective of the day-to-day reality. See, and here's the thing, and I'm starting to question like a lot of shit, like civil rights movement and a lot of that stuff. I'm starting to believe a lot of that stuff wasn't even really real like that. I think a lot of that stuff was, see, on the ground floor of something like that, you might think it's real, you might believe it, and you might, it's in your heart because you're not privy to the information that the higher ups have. You know what I'm saying? You just swept up in it and in your emotions. It's just like the guy Pat Tillman, I think, the guy who was in the NFL and he quit the NFL to join the army after 9/11, and he got murdered. He got killed by friendly fire, and they tried to manipulate it and say that the enemy did it, I guess to boost some type of morale or patriotism. Now, now, if he had lived and saw a lot of the evidence of the corruption of the United States and the true purpose of the war in Iraq, he might have a different opinion of it today. Who knows? I can't say. But there's a lot of manipulation goes on through the media. And you can't tell like a lot of those people who are trapped in the media concept. Like I said, I made a video called "The Media Equals Fast Food" because the media is like fast food. The media is like the media tells you something and you'll run with that because you have no choice but to run with that because you was not there when certain events happen and whatever. Just like fast food. If you go to a restaurant and somebody drops your hamburger and you order a hamburger, somebody drops it on the floor and picks it up and put it back on the bun and put ketchup and mustard on it, and they give it to you packaged up, you don't know that it fell on the floor because you didn't make it. You wasn't there when it was being made. Well, that's how the media is. You can only take what they say at face value because you wasn't there, and that's the media. So that's just like the war in Iraq. It's just like the weapons of mass destruction shit and all that, all those things that have proven to be untrue. Just like a lot of this media stuff that goes on. I don't even watch television anymore. I don't even pay attention to a lot of this shit anymore. All it does is all it does is leads you in into a certain way of thinking, and you may react to that, and and it could all be totally false. We are nothing but sheep, most of us. Most people you talk to are the sheep. They're the ones who watch the news and they buy into all that shit. Their thinking is shaped by the media. So talking to those types of people about what I'm talking like is is an exercise in futility. You know, see what we don't understand is that the military has all types of weapons or techniques of manipulating people or torturing people or whatever. You got psychological warfare, all that type of shit. And we're dumb enough to believe that they don't use that type of shit on us. The government and the media, they all work hand in hand in shaping your thinking. Like a video like this will fall on deaf ears, because most people don't think outside of the box, outside of the mentality that has been given to them. And a person can only think as far as the information that has been given to him or them or her. See, we exist in a vacuum to an extent in America because you have the American media telling you this, you have the government, certain policies are in place, and a bunch of shit like that, and it shapes your way, the way that you see the world. And we don't understand that the world is not America. Every country has different ways of thinking and believing and culture and all that kind of thing. It's just like it's kind of like how some of us like talk about like people talk about Egypt, were they black, were they this, were they that, and I've talked to people who've been to Egypt and they'll say, hell yeah, they're black. Those motherfuckers in Egypt, most of the motherfuckers look just like black Americans and shit. And see, like I said, white people control the way that you think as a black person through their media, through like we'll talk about rappers and shit and stuff like that. But who pays the rappers? Who signs the rappers? Who approves which rappers go on television and blow up and all that kind of shit? See, here's another thing. We can only go by like we only take what is given to us. You know what I'm saying? If they're only giving us 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, we'll take from that. A lot of us. Instead of just rejecting it, we'll take from that, even though we should reject it. They control the whole spectrum of this shit. Look how black males are portrayed in the media, on television and movies and all these other places. And that affects how you see yourself because black people subconsciously seek white approval, validation. So it's hard to break through and it's hard to see through and it's hard to act through a culture, a society such as this. And what I mean by act through is you see the bullshit, you see through the bullshit, and then you have to act through the bullshit. Like live a different life, a different lifestyle. Even if you can't change it, you can say, no, I'm not gonna fall for this, I'm not gonna fall for that. But the people around you who are stuck in that matrix, they'll say you're strange, you're weird, you're different. And you could be the most sane motherfucker out of all of them. But this video is getting kind of long. I'm gonna cut it short now.